Cameron, introduce yourself because we have a few new agents on the call.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. My name's Cameron Walters, sales manager at Homeowners Financial Group here in Atlanta. I've known Collette and worked with her for many years. It's actually a perfect time for this market update because, believe it or not, Barry Habib just came out with his forecast for this year this morning, Collette. So I will send you that presentation when we get off the call. But kind of where things stand right now from an interest rate perspective. Now, of course, there's many different ways to calculate a rate, whether it's the type of property, the sales price, the loan program, credit score, obviously, debt ratio. There's a lot that goes into it, but the mid sixes to high sixes is kind of where most of the programs are falling. Now, of course, you can buy the interest rate down. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. 2-1 buy down is very popular if you have incentives coming from the seller. So we're doing quite a few of those. Now, most experts are predicting that the Fed will reverse course this year and start cutting rates. Now, the forecast as of right now is 3 cuts, but one of the slides in the presentation that I'll send you, Collette, is there's a Fed meeting in January, on January 31st. There's a 7% chance that the Fed will cut rates. When they meet on March 20th,
Did you say 7%
chance? Seven in January.
Okay.
They meet again on March 20th. That goes up to a 68% chance that they cut rates.
Are you guys writing these dates down?
I'll send you these slides. You don't have to write these down, so you have them.
Well, I want these guys to be listening to this because you need to be prepping your buyers and your sellers. That's a huge indicator that the market is going to have a major swing when that happens. So if you are talking to people about selling their homes, by March 20th, they better be ready to put it on the market. Continue.
And check this out. So May 1st, when they meet, 94% chance that they cut rates. But not only that, there's a 56% chance that they cut 50 basis points, which is significant. Now, this is just Barry's. I mean, he's one of the best in our industry. This is just his forecast, but this is what the market overall is forecasting, not just him. And then June 12th, there's a 100% chance of a cut. July 30th, July 31st, 100%, September 18th, 100%, November 7th, 100%, and December 18th, 100%. So I'm fired up about this news, and I hope everybody else is.
So hang on, before we get too far into this conversation, guys, we talk about real estate being cyclical in the Atlanta market. We tell our clients, our sellers, that our spring market starts February. We don't have snow, we don't have ice. So people start going out and looking at properties. To understand that interest rates are going to start falling in March is key for your buyers to understand that there's going to be a feeding frenzy because we still are low in supply. By the time May and that price reduction of our interest rates go down, it's going to be a bloodbath. June, July, August. That tells me that our market is going to stay fast during the times that we're normally slow. We normally end May 31st, right? People go on vacation because they're kids. Well, you're going to have investors and pent-up demand. When those rates hit, those start going down, they're going to be buying up whatever's out there. So this is intel that you need to be able to chew on and understand and be able to advise your buyers and sellers on. So if I have a buyer, what am I going to do? I'm getting them pre-approved now. I'm making sure that they buy something as soon as possible, because in 6 months, they could literally refinance that maybe a point lower. Would you agree with that, Cameron?
Totally agree. Yep, great explanation. So secondly, over the past week, there was an uptick in interest rates, and I just wanted to kind of explain why that was. So there's really 2 things that are driving interest rates. Inflation, of course, you've heard about inflation for the last 18 months. That's why the Fed has continued to increase the Fed funds rate so that they can drive interest rates, slow down inflation, because it was, we've got it to the point, the target is 2%. It's around 3, a little above 3 right now. But the reason why it wasn't inflation, it was the BLS jobs report that came out at the end of last week. So there were 216,000 jobs created in December. Now, of course, a lot of that may be seasonal jobs through the holidays. The expectation was that 170,000 would be created. So it blew past those expectations, which in the market's eyes, that is the reason why, the 10-year push back up, inflation pushed back up a little bit, because the easy definition for inflation is too many dollars chasing too few goods in our economy, which makes inflation run hot. So that is the reason why there was an increase in interest rates over the past week. Now, I think that will probably level out, as I explained, as we go on. A couple other things that I wanted to mention in the forecast. So by the end of 2024, the forecast for interest rates is going to be mid 5% range. Now, that would be phenomenal if we could get there, because it wasn't that long ago that we were pushing 8% on interest rates. So you can just imagine how far we've come. And I think as the beginning of this year, you're already seeing the activity start to increase. I know that I have. And as you know, that the forecast of these numbers, when the rate cuts are going to be coming, you can only imagine what kind of year we're set up for. So I'm super excited about it. And then the other part of it is the 2024 forecast for transaction volume this year overall is going to be increased by 15 to 20% compared to last year, which is huge. Yeah, and then appreciation is going to stay strong in Metro Atlanta. 4.5 to 5% is the forecast. And then I'm sure I've saw some of the social media posts from some of you guys about realtors, and 49% of agents sold 1 or 0 in 2023. Well, on the lending side, almost 40% of licensed mortgage originators across the country have got out of the business. So for me, that makes me so fired up about coming to work every day with the right mentality, with the right mindset to capture market share. And if 2023 taught us anything, it taught me to get back to the basics of every day have a set amount of objectives of green activities, whether that is phone calls, text messages, handwritten notes, whatever it is. 2023 was extremely difficult, but I'm very grateful that it brought me back to the way that I really used to do business before COVID, because COVID, it was gangbusters. 2023 kind of set us right. So that actually set my mindset and my mentality perfectly as we hopefully line up for a really good year.
Well said. And I think that all the agents that have started over the last 6 months to 12 months, they got to experience a very tough market. So that allowed them to sharpen the tools in their toolbox and have conversations and really train themselves on understanding a crappy market first before they experience a really fast market, so that they can be prepared to handle it. So I guess what I'm trying to help everybody understand is timing of their schedule too. Like you said, you've got to get back to the basics. You got to be time blocking. You got to be building that foundation. You got to be talking to people, going for coffee, doing the things now that are going to resonate with those folks that are buyers and sellers, that when stuff starts to, be more positive in the press, they contact you. But be contacting them prior to, and be prepared in your schedule where, look at this as an opportunity to maybe, if you need to go and do stuff with your kids on vacations and things, totally get that. But be prepared to be working your butt off from literally the end of March until August this year. It's going to be a fast market. Be prepared for that. So I would say don't rent a house for 2 weeks and 30A in June this year. Just saying, be prepared for people who are, because you got to make up for what you'd lost in 2023. So when 2008 to 2012 hit, and Jan and Candace and I were all selling real estate, we would say after that happened, make hay while the sun shines. So take advantage of what is coming down the market, and don't take vacations. You slap all that money away. You make sure you got 6 months always in reserves, so that when things like this happen, that you are prepared and you can handle it and you don't wash out. You're not one of those 49% that either made. And it was funny, Cameron, because when some of these agents that are on today were on the call with Bob and Barry last week about the market and the commission lawsuit. And when he said he had seen the stats that 45% hadn't sold one property in 2023. I was like, I want that information. I want that article.
Yeah.
So when the article came out that said 49% were less, 1% or 49% they sold one or less, that was so impactful for us to understand where some of these agents have been for 2023, and they're probably going to wash out. So you guys who are on this call, think of how much better off you are. Because I know you guys, unless you're brand new, have sold more than one, or you at least sold one. So you're already ahead of the game. All right, Cameron, what other words of wisdom do you have for these folks?
So just the last two things, many of you know that I have a mortgage coach that just helps me with, I've had him for 3 years. He's fantastic. He's one of the best in the country. He helps me with my mindset, helps me with my process. And one thing that might be helpful that I thought of for you guys is I break my days down into what are called in the mortgage world theme days. So on Monday is my partner day, current referral partners that I work with, and whether that is reaching out to them to show how grateful you are for them supporting you over the years, handwritten notes. So anybody that you work with that is a partner for me is my Monday. Tuesday is my current client days. People I have in process, I reach out to on Tuesdays, tell them where they're at in the process, send statusgrams, as Collette knows. Wednesday is my lead tracker day. Every opportunity that's sent to me, I track like crazy. Thursday, past clients, and Friday is my pre-approvals I reach out to before the weekend. So if you structure your days from a green activity perspective as a realtor, and I'm just thinking through this, maybe you structure it as your sphere of influence on Monday or your past clients that you've closed on Tuesday. Break it down into each individual day, because for me, for many, many years, and I've done this 23 years, I would come to work and not have a plan. I would have no earthly idea what I was going to do that day, and I would just take it as it came to me, whether it was an email, a phone call, whatever. But now that I have an idea of who I'm going after that day from a marketing perspective, it helps me narrow my focus. It helps me get more done. You can block time it. And I do it as a power hour. So 1 hour every weekday, you spend that 1 hour on that group of people, then you know you've tried to increase your business and help whoever it is that helps you throughout the week. And then I send out a newsletter every Friday afternoon. So if you want to subscribe to it, all you need to do, I can send you the link, just your name and email address, and then you'll be on it.
And guys, when you have a buyer that is, kicking the tires, that thinks they want to purchase in, the next 6 to 12 months, even 2 years, I always recommend that you link them up with Cameron prior to even setting them up with a search. And Cameron's job is to take that load off of you, but also to edify you. Like when you give him a lead, when he talks to that lead the first time, it's, hey, how did you get to know Joanne? Joanne's one of the best agents I've ever worked with. She's part of this team, blah, blah, blah. He's going to edify your credibility. And then he takes the heavy lifting of understanding the financial makeup of that buyer. And he's going to make sure that those programs that they have meet that buyer's needs. And guess what? If they don't, or if Homeowner Financial doesn't have a program that works for that buyer, he's going to tell them. And he's going to help them find some other program that helps them, or help them coach them up on what they need to do to purchase in 2 months, 6 months, 9 months. It's such an integral part. And I want you guys to keep an arm's length away from your buyer's financial situation, because you don't want to get stuck in the murk. That's not what you do every day. Let someone like Cameron take that on for you. Did I miss anything there, Cameron?
No, it's perfect. Last thing I'll say is, because a lot of this would happen, you have somebody that is potentially interested in purchasing, but they're not ready to complete the loan application, or they don't want their credit pulled. I only do a soft credit check in the beginning of the process. That completely alleviates that concern for them. So it will not cause a credit inquiry. It will not affect their credit scores. It gives me all the information that I need to be able to run a full pre-approval, put them with our in-house credit services team, who's fantastic. They help people that may have a 560 or 580 get to a 620 or 640 to qualify. So if you have somebody that does not want their credit pulled, I only do soft credit checks up front.
And guys, that is something that you hear all the time from somebody that might not be ready to purchase, or doesn't think they're ready to purchase in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. But if you can intelligently tell them it's a soft credit pull, it is not going to come up on the credit score agencies. It's not going to hurt your credit. But you
Yep.
need to you need to start now. It's like anything, you need to start planning, and that's the first step. And 9 times out of 10, when you have a buyer start thinking that way and having that knowledge, their time schedule starts to move up a little bit, right? They may say 9 months, 12 months, but then when in reality, they start talking to Cameron and understanding how this all rolls and works together. They may indeed have something pop in that search that you now create that they're excited about, and they may execute that purchase faster than what they had anticipated and you had as well. Remember, buyers are liars and sellers are worse. Okay. For new agents, buyers are liars and sellers are worse. They don't want to tell you the truth. That's why you bring Cameron in, who has to look up their skirt and tell you what the real facts are. Now, with that, Cameron is, he's bound by confidentiality too. So he's not going to tell you, and you can tell your buyers this too. He's not going to tell you everything that comes up for that buyer, but he is going to pick up the phone and tell you if you are wasting your time or not. Or, this guy is solid. You need to get moving on this guy. You've got him as a secret weapon. All your mortgage partners should work that way. Okay. And if you don't have a mortgage partner that's not working or is not working like that, then you're missing an opportunity, not only to service your buyers at the highest level, but to limit your waste of time. Okay. So Cameron Walters, Homeowners Financial, you guys are all on we've given him all your contact information. So you should be getting his newsletters. But if you don't have his contact information, Cameron, go ahead and put it in the chat. What I do when I introduce Cameron to buyers is I just go to the World Wide Web. I grab his page, Cameron Walters, Homeowners Financial, and then I take the link and I hyperlink it into my email so that all my buyers need to do is click on Cameron Walters' name and it goes to his page. So that's how I operate. And that's one reason why I'm still here after 23 years and 2 really bad markets. Any questions for Cameron on markets and interest rates and the process? I'm gonna give it because people have to go off mute. I don't think so, Cameron. I think you're released. You're free to go.
Well, let's get after it in 2024. I'm pumped.
All right, what's Monday, guys? What did he say Monday was? Partner communication. So go to your power hour, my friend.
That's right.
All right, thanks for your time. Bye, Cameron.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.